How do you feel? What is your experience today with the conference?
I think it's a very exciting first half and a very important first half of the day as well for us. As Cosmos Laos, the organization that's building most of the technologies on the Cosmos ecosystem, one thing we wanted to come in with um, was a very, very intentional explanation of how we are approaching this in work. Because it is a big shift involved for the sandwiches. It's something that Cosmos, and I mean, you're basically targeting enterprises and financial institutions, important governments. It's something that Cosmos as a technology stack has excelled, but without this fortiful organizations building it. More so organic, kind of like Linux in a way, where Linux is used everywhere in aerospace. And at first that just started to happen because it was a great technology. Now we want to be very intentional about how we take Cosmos to these businesses, which client founders, banks, governments. So we wanted to lay it out across all those three pillars first. Why do we think now is the right time? Why you're better positioned for it? How the technology and products change it to address it, and then how it impacts all the millers that already exist in our ecosystem that lived in a different world, so to speak, we now are adapting to all these changes. So we're very excited. It's the first time in a while that we've been able to put all the cards on the table in terms of everything we're doing. And we wanted to start off the conference now.
So having all of that in mind, what is the key point that you want for the audience to take from today and from the whole conference?
I think the main point is that this market and direction is a reality. We are very accustomed in this ecosystem and blockchain in general to at our own noses knowing, looking very close rather than in the wide picture. So the way we assess ourselves as whether Cosmos is fit to work with enterprises, businesses, the answer to that and the point for us is yes, this is a great market and a great fit for us. And it's been already the case. It's hard sometimes to have the same measure of success rate. If the economy of a couple nations in Latin America and Europe are using Cosmos chains to better serve their citizens with visual currencies that have lower cost or instant, I find that as a great success. It might show different, right? It is a dust for upfront and shiny, but those are things that make a broader impact in the world, and they are a market that today we are entering pretty hard. So that's our main point. It is a very, very big opportunity. There is a very important gap that we feel as scholars. And we have all the pieces aligned, and Cosmos has had historically all of those pieces of fear aligned on radio. Just hasn't been intentional about it, and we're now very ready to do that.
What do you think? How will the whole finance industry look in the next few years? What will be the next big thing?
I think I disagree a lot if people watching this watch the talk from Revolut today that nothing will change. That's quite a statement coming from Revolut that changed everything in finance in the last 5 years. You think everything will change. Revolut even has Revolut exits payments and crypto platform today that is widely popular. But beyond that, and from my own perspective, as a let's say global citizen, I'm an Argentinian citizen, born and raised. I live in Portugal now. The friction between me being able to move money around, even to pay for like a birthday gift for my mom, is massive. That will takes usually. And if when it doesn't take me days, when it takes me, let's say 5 hours, which is still a lot, it costs me a lot of my fees, the transactions. All those things get changed and are changing already with people that implement the technology at the finance level. The same goes for stocks, commodities, and let's say a higher utility assets or more complex use cases and finance. how hard is it today to consume, let's say, US treasuries as an investor? If you're not in the US, right, like any 100 licenses, if you're an individual, you either participate through a different vendor that's a way charging you and they have their own licenses, or you have to somehow get a license to be able to trade at, or you're banned and then they charge you on top of that. Now we're seeing things like Ondot that's tokenizing stock products, different commodities, or injective as well, or Wall Street giants, and then being able to offer those tokenized stock products to banks across the world outside of the US and saying like, hey, yes, you might need to still get a license to operate it. But the iteration is so much faster and their asset doesn't need to call for like stock broker in the US to somebody else that has a license, hold it for you. It's just wait, maybe in seconds in a market that operates every. We've had those conversations with multiple markets. I was on stage speaking about it. Our recent trip to Japan, where we met the Ministry of Finance and a lot of the different organizations that operate the Japanese stock market here. That's a market that does around 30 trillion in volume, like every month, if I'm not mistaken. It's an insanely high traffic market. And their pain point is like, well, our systems hit a roof. There's a lot of excitement. These products, like stocks, are starting to be adopted by everyone through platforms like Robin. But markets still trade from 7 a.m. to, depending on market, to 2 p.m. And markets like Japan that have time zone differences and narrow the windows even further. And they're thinking, it's like, what if everybody could operate on this market all day? Could we unlock new growth? Could we take these products that are beloved across multiple markets to new markets? Or do things like fractionalized stocks so that smaller buyers can also participate? That's what we're looking at, and where we say like, yes, everything is going to change. That's a contrast.
Okay. Going back to On-País itself, what would you say that is your favorite part of it? Is it maybe disagreements? Is it learning something new, or?
I think both are important. Disagreements, particularly conferences, show contrast. We are an industry in blockchain that has very strong, of course, beliefs in a belief system that is deeply rooted in changing legacy systems that we see are outdated. But there's also part of that story that simply do not make sense to the other part. And for many years, that's what has stopped a lot of blockchain adoption, right? We were telling the governance of the world, we're going to create a system that will run in parallel to avoid evil. Rather than focusing on what can these systems do to improve the lives of citizens, the lives of the users, finance, we were talking about those core beliefs very strong. And dissidence is important, but listening is what's most important in that dissidence. Because what we are really trying to do here, besides create a fairer system, is create a better system, a system that works better, improves lives. It's not just fair, but actually has a benefit. It's like privacy. Privacy, if it becomes an inconvenience for the user, then people usually are the law, or just let me give all my data to everybody, right? Nobody's going to choose another system if it's a big case. So listening to the different opinions, really understanding what they need is what helps us mature as an industry and build solutions for real problems rather than just building, amazing solutions, but maybe that they're rooted on core beliefs and less so further issues. So that's what helps us a lot when we come to these conferences. And the more this is a discussion on the rest, the better, because the more we have to learn.
Then we're looking forward to new discussions for the next 2 days. Thank you very much. Those are all my questions.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.